From man's sweat and God's love, beer came into the world. Amen.
I'd still, like, if I saw it somewhere, I'd be like, oh, I'm drinking that. You know, for if that's the IPA that they have on tap, I'd be like, oh, yeah, and I'm not upset about it at all.
Yeah, Swami's solid.
Yeah.
This one's good. This one's fantastic. Okay, we've been talking for a half hour, but just
it's all getting thrown in the
expect
trash.
that when you're listening to this, that first half hour has been cut out, but that'll explain why. Welcome to the Go to Hell podcast, Strong Opinions Weekly Held. Our first beer that we've been drinking is our own concoction. What do we name our beer?
October Skies.
October Skies.
All of our beers currently have a musical connection. Our first beer that we made was the Stone Temple Piglets, mainly because it had a really bad stone fruit. Well, some people said really good stone fruit. I said really bad stone fruit flavor. So we called it Stone Temple Piglets because it was actually a blind pig recipe.
That was not at all blind pig.
That was not blind pig at all. It did not taste like an IPA.
It was a strange...
It was a strange brew.
Yeah.
But then, shout out to the Canadians. They won a baseball game tonight. So the second beer that we made was
supposed to be.
It was a recipe as well. It was
supposed
the double
to be Firestone
barrel. It was supposed to be
DBA.
Yeah, DBA double barrel ale from Firestone Walker, and it came out pretty good. It was
tasty, but it was not what we intended to brew. It came out like an English mild.
Yeah, so it was lower in ABV.
And hence we called it Never Mild.
Yeah, we called it the Never Mild.
And the label was
also
fashioned after the Nirvana album.
Right, which was actually...
Nevermind.
Which, when we created the name, actually, I think we were recording the podcast that night and Nolan was here, and we decided to call it because it's a double barrel ale, and we made a joke about that Kurt Cobain had to reload his shotgun in order enough to kill himself because it's a double barrel. So it's the Never Mild.
Let's put a pin in that. I might have something to say about that.
Okay.
Not joking, but also interesting, controversial. And so, yeah. So now we're drinking. Our first beer was the Marzen.
Well, and our Marzen was called October Skies, named after Mumford & Sons song October Skies off of their album. I can picture the album. I can't remember what it is. And by the way, we have digital art for all of these.
If only I was good at social media and posted stuff. I don't even post our episodes on X. Just so boring. Anyway, I mean, I was active on X. I was prolific on X 2 nights ago, which probably was a bad idea. Well, actually, it was last night after I'd had 4 beers. I was going hard. Anyway.
We just need to create
we should post the art on our X.
Just an Instagram page that said, finally done brewing, and then put a R3 up there for now.
But I've got
a double IPA coming down the pipe. So
this Marzen, it's not perfect. And I think it's off a little bit because we were still having brew issues. So I'm hoping this next one.
It is
the machine we've been using is working at literally quarter power as to what it's supposed to.
The Marzen, though, is the best beer that we've made.
Yes.
That tastes exactly like the beer that we wanted to make.
It did.
I feel like our biggest issue with our Marzen right now is it just needs to be higher carbonation.
Yeah.
It's still a little sweet for me, but I mean, that's just more.
But again, I think that goes to us not being at full temperature.
Yeah, not being at full temperature. We can still play with the malts.
Yeah.
You know, like that kind of stuff where it's like, okay, we can still play with the grain, bring it down a little bit and do all that kind of stuff. So, but I'm very happy with how that turned out.
Well, apparently mistakes happen. Have you had Nevermind? Never say never. This the last 2 weeks at Koya?
Butter?
No. So there was an issue with the yeast. And I haven't talked to Kenny about it, but the current Neva is very clovey. It's delicious.
Oh, you were talking about that last week.
It's delicious if you like clovey Belgian Abbey beers. And I think he either overcooked the yeast or the usual yeast that he got was a bad batch. And so that flavor, that was So that was my theory, and then I ran it past Nick, who's a more experienced home brewer than we are, and he was like, "Yeah, that tastes like the yeast got too hot."
Yeah. And
It's a great mistake, but again,
hey, I'm going to say this right now. And you tried it, so therefore you can say if I'm wrong or not. But not saying that this is not to toot our own horn, but I do think our Marzen tastes better than the Barrel House Marzen this year.
our Marzen's better than the Barrel House, and it's better than the Fieldwork.
Oh, I never tried the Fieldwork one.
No, you did. It was tepid. It was like tepid in flavor. It was okay, but it lacked. Oh, maybe you didn't. There's still 3 or 4 cans out there. The Fieldwork, the Barrel House. I don't remember what the problem with the Barrel House was.
It didn't have any flavor.
Okay, the Fieldwork has flavor, but it didn't. If you don't know what a Marzen is, it's a more malty beer. It's not hop. I mean, there's an element of hops to it. You have to have a little bit, but it tends to be malty. It's got more flavor than the Barrel House, but it still lacks okay, you didn't lean enough into the biscuit or the caramel or one of the, caramel's one of the flavors, but one of the 2 or 3 flavor profiles that are really big in a Marzen. It's not quite there yet.
Yeah.
The Fieldwork is much more delicious, much easier to drink than the Barrel House, but it was still yeah, you didn't lean into it enough. But ours has plenty of flavor. I agree with you. Ours is a little more sweet than I'd like, but I'd take that over being bleh.
Yep. And again, ours also has a really nice body to it.
And for the third batch, I feel really good about it.
Yeah, I felt good.
Which is partially the machine we're using. But I'm really anxious. So if you're listening to this and we shared this, we figured out the machine that we use. So we bought a 220 machine. It came with a plug, an Asian plug for power, which created a whole bunch of conundrums for us when we started to brew. So I'm going to throw Nolan under the bus because Nolan made the decision. So yeah, Nolan, it's your decision. Nolan decided to swap out the plug that it came with for a 110 plug. And the machine worked, but what we found out was the way electricity maths work, we didn't reduce the electricity power by half. We reduced it by 3/4. So we're getting 1/4 of the power out of the machine. And so it was causing issues of
we couldn't get to a boil.
Taking way too long to get to a boil. And then when we got to a boil, it was a tepid boil. It was not if we wanted to get the machine to 320 or 220 to have a really, really active boil, it just was impossible.
Do say that you want an active boil, but you don't want an overboil. So
but that's what we got because we got a tepid boil. We ended up overboiling.
Well, it wasn't even that we were overboiling, but it was just so the reason why we have less Marzen this go around is because we lost so much liquid and literally it just burning off.
Okay, we're saying the same thing.
Yeah. Just hours and hours and hours and hours. But I'm saying that
it took 45 minutes to an hour to get to a boil once we got the barley in, at least. So yeah, we're just burning off liquid. I mean, how much were we short? We had to throw water in.
Yeah, we had to throw in another gallon, basically.
So anyway, I mean, we're basically creating beer concentrate and then throwing water in to balance it out. Yep. But that's not how you want to brew beer. You want to brew it at the...
Yep. And also
you might have to add a little bit of water here and there.
And our hops aren't fully able to release.
Correct. That's the big thing. That's what screwed us on both the first 2 beers.
Yeah, exactly.
Particularly the first beer, Stone Temple Piglets, the hops that was very much hoppy did not release at all. And even on the DBA that was not hop dominant, the little bit meant a lot. And that's why we didn't get the alcohol content we wanted, nor the added bitterness that beer is supposed to have.
Yep.
And on this beer, it didn't matter because it was unbelievably barley forward. I think I've got another 16 cups of barley in my beer fridge to make dog treats with. Because apparently, if you keep it cold, you can keep it for quite a long time. So
Yeah, and it's only like 1 ounce of hops that goes into it. It was so funny. There's a couple of guys that I watched their videos on TikTok. I don't follow them or anything, but they were talking about they went and toured like the Guinness factory or whatever, and they're talking about they're like, we're not really IPA guys. Like, we don't really like IPAs, but did you know that one of the ingredients of a Guinness is hops? And it's like, all beers have
all
hops.
beer has to
all
have
beers
hops.
have hops. They're like, we love beer, but hops, like, we're not IPA guys. Like, we don't like IPAs. Like, we don't want
required.
hops. And they were like, we didn't even like it when we went in the room and had to like smell the hops. Like, we did not like that.
What?
And I was like, and that's fine. I get it. I know where they're coming from.
Yeah.
And they like Guinness. And so it's like, okay, so you like the darker beers and stuff, but still hops are used in that. So that's how that goes.
Speaking of Guinness, there's a fun show on Netflix. It's The House of Guinness, and it's basically like Peaky Blinders light. And when every episode starts with, what does it say? Historical events in this show of fiction is based on historical facts or something. It's very like, they're very open. Like, this is a very loose interpretation of how the Guinness family got started, but it's basically based around the Guinness family and how important they were.
Yeah.
I want to read a book now. I'm like, because it's tied to the Industrial Revolution, people getting pensions. They're talking about people getting pensions, building hospitals, building a sustainable living for the people who work at the Guinness thing. It's tied to the to the Irish Republican Army and overthrow, because at this point it's the 1870s. It's post Civil War, but it's 1800s. It's post Civil War, so it's Gilded Age America. They're talking about the Irish independence movement. So Ireland is still part of Great Britain. So now I want to read a book to be like, how important was Guinness to the creation of the Irish Republic? But anyway, it's a lot of that mixed in with male, female, stuff.
Well, and then to talk about the beer that we are drinking now, because like we said, we've been drinking for a little bit. We are drinking the Beachside Reset IPA from Pizza Port Brewing Company, made with Citra, Crush, Motica, and Idaho 7. Idaho 7 on the climb. I think it's going to replace New Zealand hops here. It's going to be Idaho IPAs here, especially with how many people from California are moving to Idaho. Alcohol 7 on the dot by volume. That's an IPA right there. That's, if you were to ask me what's the ABV of an IPA, I'll tell you 7. That's my preferred IPA is an
this is
7%. So
this is about as close as I've had for a while for like a classic West Coast IPA.
Yep.
We're not gonna get. I've given up on getting a really piney IPA. I mean, I want to try to make one myself.
Oh, I do want to make one. Although, wait, have you?
But just the market doesn't. The market is not super hoppy, piney IPAs anymore. So this is a very nice mix of hoppy and tropical, and I would say it leans a little bit more hoppy than tropical. And so this is about as West Coast IPA as you're going to get right now.
Yep.
A little cloudy on the look. It's not clear, which frankly that's by choice, because if you and I both know if Russian River had made this, they would have added the whatever that thing is to make it crystal clear.
Yeah, make it the clearest beer that I've ever seen in my life.
He has an infatuation with not having cloudy beer.
I feel like he's made a deal with the devil.
It's just like, I will never make a beer that's not crystal clear, even if it's artificial.
Yeah. I was like, go buy a fucking Mind Circus, pour that in a glass, and that's their hazy IPA, and you'll literally see your best friend on the other side of it.
He wants it crystal clear.
I think their cloudiest beer, or like their dark, of their light beers, and not like light and like calorie count, like light beers as far as like, yes, they make dark Belgians as well, Consecration and all that kind of stuff, but their lighter beers, I think their darkest light beer is fucking Pig.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's amber in color and a little bit cloudier than the others, but yeah. So delicious, great I don't have a trivia question for you tonight.
I thought you said you did.
Oh, well, I it's kind of like more of like a little game kind of thing.
That's
you
fine.
know?
We haven't done
It's-
that in a couple weeks.
Yeah, it's not
couple
like
episodes.
Yeah, it's not like I mean, it's not really like a game. It's just more of again, it's kind
Chris
of more
Williams wants me to ask you.
I know you said that you're going to ask me a question, and that's fine. You can ask me a question.
I'm not going to do it tonight. Yeah, he wants me to ask you. He's got a list for you of the most perfect, the top 10 perfect movies of all time. And I was like, I'm going to ask Colton that, but if Colton had asked me that, I'd be pissed off. Like, what the fuck does perfect mean? Like,
I mean, you can ask
according
me.
to USC and UCLA film, USC, UCLA, and New York University.
Well, we did have that conversation about the
school.
top movie list, and so that might be where this comes from, where Chris is just like, well, what is a perfect movie to Colton? And he's just trying to get down to the root of that, or it's like, you know, maybe Chris is actually a big Parasite fan, and I was calling that the hipster pick.
I still have not seen Parasite.
I don't know. I haven't seen it either, by the way. So like you could say, but anytime I see it, I'm like, bro, that's the Sundance, like, that's so fucking hipster.
Well, I appreciate the perfect movie thing, but again, like, then you got to give me some kind of like, how are you scoring the perfect movie kind of thing? But anyway, we'll do that at some point. It'll be fun. You and I will probably bitch about it, but maybe next episode. All right. So what are you gonna do? What do you got?
I'm gonna ask you some questions. Actually, so what we're gonna do is I'm gonna give you some foods, and you're gonna have to tell me the sauce that you pair with these foods.
That's, I'm not a sauce guy, but all right.
No. You'll get it. You'll know what I'm talking about. I was like, okay, so these
are there right or wrong answers?
There are no wrong answers. I'm gonna say the food out loud, and you're gonna talk about what is either the dip that you are dipping that thing in, so we're gonna like that is the only dip you're able to use for the rest of your life on that object.
Okay.
And I'll give you 2 on like some of them because
before we get into this, can I just explain? I'm not a big dipping guy. You and I have talked about this.
Yeah.
Like, you like dips. You like dip.
Me, I like
you like dips and sauce. You like sauces.
I like to make sauces, but I'm not like, I don't know.
Here's my problem with that. Here's my problem with dips and sauces. I like, and I'm saying this is, I have a problem. It's one, here's where I'm coming from, and then this is the problem. So, where I'm wrong, quote unquote wrong, if we're talking like foodie world, I prefer to eat food as the chef intended. Okay? I know you get that. So if you're listening to this, like, if the chef if a chef puts a plate in front of me, I intend to eat it that way. I don't need to, like, I'm talking like a really nice meal. Like, I don't need to add salt. I don't need to add.
I don't disagree. I
know. I'm not saying you disagree with me. I'm talking to the listener right now.
Oh, you're saying you disagree with me? Well,
I am letting listeners know right now where I'm coming from.
I know, but I was like, wait, I hold the same stance.
I know you do, but you're more. I preface this by saying you're more into sauces than I am, which is where I'm going to on this.
Oh, okay.
Which leads me then to think, if you put a chicken fucking tender in front of me, that's how you meant to make it. And what I have to tell myself is, sometimes the chef, yes, I'm being very generous even at like Raising Cane's.
Oh,
no, the chef meant for you to eat that. The chicken tender is a vehicle to then pair with a sauce of your choice to eat. Because if I have my way, I don't eat it. I'm not eating the sauce. Bread the thing with what you want on it. Like, put spicy, it's low grade, terrible chicken. But like, yes, the original recipe, Kentucky Fried Chicken, is fantastic.
Yeah, I was like, don't talk shit on Kentucky Fried Chicken.
All of the original secret herbs and spices, that's all I need on a piece of chicken.
That's all I need to.
I don't need to put a sauce on it. But things these days, it became a trend where, no, the way the chef wants it is you eat it with a sauce.
Yeah.
So I'm prefacing all that. It's a long-winded way of saying, my brain says, no, I don't need a sauce. Like Mexican food, yes, you're going to, it's expected. You pick your salsa that you want. Do you want spicy? Do you want green? Do you want red? Do you want mild? Do you want chunky? Depending on the place you're at. Like Figaro's, that's why I really like one of our local
they got like
Mexican
20
places. Like
spreads
they've
of
got
salsas that you
every kind of salsa you want. They got 3 kinds of spicy, including all literally
The
just.
habanero one is good, although it needs citrus.
So Danica she takes habanero and mixes it with another one and
The
just
sweet green one.
Yeah, and then just stirs it up.
Because that's also, so I actually have, there are 3 salsas that I like there, but all 3 of them I have problems with. There's the green one.
Yeah, none of them are good independently.
Yeah, the green one is too sweet. The red one has too much chili powder in it, or adobo chili, and then the habanero one it's literally just heat, no flavor.
I think she takes
which the flavor is good. It just needs citrus. Like, again, the no flavor on the habanero is fine, and the texture of it is really good, but I need, like, toss in a fucking pineapple or something to give me some kind of pop to it.
I think she takes the habanero with the ancho chili one.
Oh, okay.
And then she adds lime to whatever she's eating.
So that'd be more traditional, like, Mexican candy kind of status, where it's like, okay, you got the little, like, you got the hardcore, like, you know, the chili powder. See, that one's my least favorite of the 3 because it's just got too much chili powder. It's just too much paprika. Adobo
I would
chili.
like to know what style Mexican that is, because there's a lot of people in our area who don't like that Mexican food, and it's because it's a very specific kind.
White people Mexican?
No, it's not white people. I think it's.
Well, I mean, it's owned by Mexicans, but like the white people love it. Go
white people love it,
and it's just white people in there.
I think it's probably like Cancun type of Mexican food.
I was like,
I think
I
it's probably
like
more
Arizona Mexican food.
I think it's more. It's like Caribbean or something like that. Even though it's not really fish heavy, but it's a particular kind. But I also know enough about Mexican food that there's like 20 different kinds. It's just
there is a lot of different.
Where
types of
in California we pretty much have Baja and North.
I think we also have an American, like much like Chinese food, like we have an American version of Mexican food, and then you have occasionals where they come from Michoacan,
right?
And they come in with authentic recipes, and people go into the restaurant and asking for chips and salsa, and they're like, "We don't do that shit." Like, you know.
Well, that's so. There was we had like 20 years ago, there was a household name Chinese food in our town, Tulare.
Yeah.
They'd been there for like a generation, but like Danica had gone to high school with the son.
Yeah.
And they closed up, and it sucked because they made really good American Chinese food. That's why it's what it was. It was American Chinese food.
Right.
And the dude who bought, I remember the guy who bought it had run a restaurant in San Francisco, Chinese restaurant in San Francisco.
Oh, yeah.
He bought it like the first or second weekend he was open. We went in because, I mean, Danica and I really like Chinese food.
Yes.
But we like good Chinese food. And I'm not being like...
Good American Chinese food?
Either way. But
okay.
But there, I mean, you can get shitty American Chinese food, like Chinese
I'm just saying American Chinese food because, like, so I grew up on American Chinese food living in the North Bay. Like, we lived in...
Right.
We lived in Pengrove, but we would drive down to get good. You can still get good American Chinese food around there, and then you can get really authentic Chinese food, which is, and even if it's more Americanized, because again, in China they're not eating dumplings with every meal or whatever. But again, their meals are different, like the Szechuan peppercorn sauces and all that kind of stuff. Like that's the more Szechuan peppercorn that's involved, the more Chinese it actually is. So, but I went to Seattle this last go around, and I found a spot literally around the corner from my parents' house, and they had no idea that it existed because they don't go on fucking Yelp. And I was like, and this is like a 5-star, like, this is like the most authentic Chinese food. And I went there after our Seattle Kraken game, and I was like, this is the best Chinese food ever. But it was authentic Chinese, and which I don't have a problem with, like, people. So
this poor bastard, like, we met him the day we went in. He was very eager. I give him full credit. Like, he wanted to meet everybody who came through the door, but he kept telling everyone, I am serving authentic Chinese food. And I remember walking away and because what does that mean? I said, well, I don't know because he didn't say, and I didn't think to ask in the moment.
There's no general so on the menu.
Does that mean Mandarin or Cantonese or Szechuan or probably the 3 or 4 other that I'm not even aware of? Whatever it was too authentic for Tulare. And even for me, I was like, I don't know what this is, but this is this is not the Chinese food have had. And that poor guy lasted, I think, 4 months and then he went out of business. Now, that said, what have there been like 10 other restaurants in that location until then? And now it's a pharmacy because someone woke up and said, yeah, stop putting restaurants here. But
Asian food
when
comes
someone
to die
says
in the Central Valley.
authentic, yeah, we like to make fun of Americans because American Mexican food and certainly Tex-Mex can be made fun of because
it can be made fun of.
There's really good Tex-Mex, but a lot of Tex-Mex is like, no, that's just an excuse for shitty Mexican food. But no, you got to beware of authentic, quote unquote, something because it's like, no, like we have a certain palate. There's certain meats we like. You know, maybe this kind of Chinese food leans more on fish than it does pork or beef or chicken.
Yes, you need to figure out what it is. Like that's why I said what I said about the Szechuan. I was like, and what he was talking about, where it's more Szechuan Chinese.
Szechuan's more spicy, isn't it?
It's like that floral spice.
Right.
So
whereas Cantonese is more like orange and Mandarin. Or Cantonese and it's more like the non-spice that stuff people like orange chicken and
and so
lemon chicken and
so you know, how are your dumplings prepared? How are your pot stickers prepared? How like there's all these different things, and then these savory flavor combinations, spicy flavor combinations. You know, using squid ink and like this kind of stuff is, it's something where it's like you need to find there's like certain flavor profiles where it's like, okay, you're gonna have to lean into that. So like the mole from, you know, Michoacan is rich,
right?
You know, you got this deep red sauce kind of stuff, and so you got to kind of lean into some of those elements where it's, you know, in the United States things have kind of taking different flavors because of what's popular and whatever. And so like there's significantly less fried food in a lot of these other areas, whereas Americans love fried food. Now, fried food still exists in other places, but it's not highlighted in the menu. So like, you know, the taco shells aren't fried. The burrito isn't fried. Like not every single thing is fried.
I would say even Mexican food's adapted a lot of its stuff to American.
Oh yeah, 100%. I agree.
Our favorite taco truck does the queso tacos. That's not a Mexican thing. That's someone got smart and said,
I can make a quesadilla into a taco.
You can literally put all the cheese in the world on your Mexican thing and Americans will buy it. And someone said, I can figure out a way to do that.
Yeah,
and so what we're talking about is it's a tortilla with cheese and then another.
Yeah, well, for those of you that have ordered tacos before, street tacos before, you get 2 corn tortillas. And so what they said was, what we'll do is we'll put cheese in between the 2 layers of corn tortillas. And so what you end up having is you have a quesadilla holding taco together.
And it's fantastic.
You have a corn
and
quesadilla.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it's great. Especially if you get like quesabirria where you dip it in the consomme, or even if something flavorful.
What's even better is it's cheaper than Taco Bell and Jack in the Box, which is mind-blowing to me. But
and also one of the best things about them, and I still say this to this day, they load their tacos with protein. So like, whatever you order, it's not like just like a handful of carne asada or whatever.
That is the problem with street
tacos?
Street taco, like Mexico City
street
tacos. You can order
5 and you're like, or 7 and like you don't feel anything. These are literally like you're 2 and done.
Yeah,
So I've never ordered 2 tacos before in my life, and I order 3 all the time, and I regret it every single time, and I don't even finish it. Like I got to hand it off to somebody else.
A month ago, I'm usually like you. I'm usually the one doing dinners, and I was like, it's 4:00, and I didn't plan on dinner.
I had it tonight, by the way,
and I was like, I'm just gonna go to Taco San Marcos And my wife, Danica, and I ate dinner for less than $20. That was 19 and change. And I got home and she got 2 tacos, I got 2 tacos. But these are big tacos. And she didn't even eat the 2 she got. She ate one, like 3/4 of one, and then like she snacked on the rest of it for the weekend. And then I came home and I said, do you want... I spent less on that than what a meal would have been almost at Jack in the Box. I mean, it's insane. Anyway, yeah, it's no one's fault. We have this idea of what food tastes like in the United States. We say like Mexican food and Chinese food, and it's really more complex than that. A lot of it's because a lot of us don't live in big cities no, it's 2 things. A lot of us don't live in big cities where you do experience the difference. And then some of us live in big cities and we think what we're getting is Chinese food is not. No, you're getting Mandarin or this. Yep. I remember as a kid, there was a Thai place in Studio City, which is part of Los Angeles. And I just thought that was Thai food. And it was very much like Chinese food, but a little bit different. So it was a lot of like fried crispy noodles.
Oh yeah.
You get like a heavy crispy noodle and like almost like a spicy orange chicken kind of thing.
Have you ever had sorry to derail, but you brought up Thai foods, therefore that makes me...
No.
Have you ever had
because I want to talk about Thai food for a minute, because Thai food's a whole other, like, you can be very disappointed if you think you're ordering Thai food, because Thailand is a very large country that goes north to south by probably 1,000 miles. And so that's a lot of area for having dynamic food.
Have you ever had because they serve this at Thai restaurants as well with the Vietnamese restaurants, and there's a kind of a blend between them a lot of the times in the United States. In some places, some of you might be offended by that because you're like, no, they're different places. And I was like, not all the time. Thai food restaurants are still serving Vietnamese pho. Like, you know.
No, Vietnamese can... When we tease this whole conversation out, it'll make this clear. That yes, there is cuisine that is Thai food, Cambodian, Laotian, Vietnamese is all the same. And Chinese food. It's all kind of a variation of the same. So
yeah. Have you had the sandwich? There's like a specific Vietnamese sandwich called like the pan ki ma or something. I've heard that's like one of the best sandwiches in the world. It's
amazing.
I've never tried it. So I was just like, I had seen it.
It's amazing.
And people were
I had that in Los Angeles when I was in college. But pretty much most of the Thai food that I had in my 20s and as a teenager, I would assume is northern Thailand.
Was noodle based?
It was noodle or Chinese food adjacent.
Okay. So like you had like pad Thai.
Yeah, pad Thai, but again, or it was like a spin on
chow mein,
or again, there was a place in Studio City, Los Angeles, that made this thing. They would take this big ass pan of oil, and right in front of you, they would dump a particular kind of noodle and just fry it for like, it would go from hard, like, you know, in a package, to it would soak up immediately the oil, become loose, and then fry in like 20 seconds.
Nice.
And then they'd pour over it kind of like
some sort of sauce.
General Tao's kind of chicken or that kind of thing. Not really orange chicken. I've never had that ever since that restaurant. I assume that's a northern Thai.
Flat noodle or skinny noodle?
Skinny noodle.
Oh, okay.
It was a rice noodle.
Oh yeah. No, I knew it was rice, but I just
wanted
to know which one it was.
It was almost like someone took.
There's also, by the way, for anybody, there's also a really good noodle joint in Pasadena, California. It was downtown Pasadena.
It was almost as if someone took Rice Krispies and turned them into noodles and then just flash fried them. It was that kind of thing. It was wild.
Yeah.
So flash forward to I am going to London for a week to do some business, and first night I'm there,
Curry.
my host says, "You want to do some Thai food?" And I'm like, "Yeah, let's do some Thai food." And it's basically Indian food.
Well,
And
curries though is what you're getting at,
it's
right?
curry,
Yeah.
but if all you've ever had is like Chinese adjacent, and I mean, as soon as I walked in, he was like, "What do you want?" And I was like, "I don't know, it's your place, order whatever." And we're ordering like, Thai lagers, and the beer's flowing, and
Yeah.
but the food shows up, and I'm like, this looks and tastes like what I know is Indian food.
Yep.
And I start eating it, but right away I'm like, no, it makes sense. You got between you and India is Myanmar, which is just India also.
But actually,
So it makes sense that you would have curry food in Thailand.
Well,
but that was the first time I'd ever had it.
My favorite curry is actually Thai curry. I don't like Japanese curry is too stew-like, so I don't like Japanese curry that much. It's kind of got sweeter elements. It literally tastes like a stew.
I don't like that.
I was like, I'd give it a try. If you've never tried it, try it, and then be like, okay. Like, my wife likes Japanese curry because she likes stew. Like, that's the rice.
So how are you with Indian food?
Indian curry, I don't like as much.
That might be if I was stranded on an island. That might be my food. I love Indian curry.
Too much turmeric, bro.
Oh, I get that, but I don't mind
That's
turmeric.
Literally all. I
don't mind it.
I love it. I don't need that much turmeric.
I love it, and make it as spicy as possible. I'm gonna sweat it out and hate my life for 20 minutes. I don't care.
I like it. I would say it's probably number 2 out of the 3, but I like Thai curry. I like the coconut.
That's fair.
With the
It is that's the science. It's Siamese.
Yeah.
Probably what we used to before that became probably racist. Siamese curry is probably the most accessible because it's got the coconut, and so it balances out the curry and the whatever chili that they're using to add the spice.
It's kind of weird. Now, if you've ever made it before, it's like the weirdest shit that you've ever made in your life.
Yes,
I make Thai Penang curry in my house, and it's an assault on the senses because you got to add fish sauce into coconut, and it's like this disgusting blend. And I'm like, okay, please stop smelling it, and then just come in and taste it at the end. And then people like taste it. Like, I remember making it for my parents, and they're like, dude, this is weird. And then they came in and they ate it, and they're like, well, this is like so mellow. This is like really good. They're like, oh, this is, and it really doesn't have like any huge flavors. But it's because you also got to add mint and basil.
Yep.
And you're like, because again, the Thai love that shit. So like it's basil and mint are wild. And then on top of that is coconut milk, fucking red curry paste, which is a variety of spices in there, fish sauce, which is stinky as all get out.
Yep.
And so you're just like, all right, here you go. I was like, please don't smell it. Just eat it. And it's like sugar snap peas, shrimp, and you pour it over rice, and it's delicious. My wife, literally, that's her favorite meal. I can make it for her birthday, and that's like her favorite thing.
I'll give you a cognitive dissonance on curry. When I was a kid, my grandmother had spent a couple months in India. And so she'd come home with a curry recipe. And so when I was a kid and when we were living all together, my grandparents and my parents were all living together.
Do you eat it with the naan, or do you eat it with do you eat it with naan, or do you eat it with
There was no naan. But when we lived in Oklahoma City, there was a time where my dad owned a duplex, and we lived in one of the houses, and my grandparents lived next door, which was actually super convenient because my parents always had a babysitter. But anyway, my grandmother had brought home a curry recipe from India.
Yeah.
But we always had formal Sunday dinner.
Yes.
And I don't know, too many times, I don't know how often, my mom would make eggplant, and I fucking hated eggplant. I still hate eggplant.
Oh, really?
I hated it so much as a kid, I still won't give it a time. I mean, if someone gives me eggplant lasagna because someone is vegetarian, I'll eat it, and I don't have a problem with it. but I just despise it. Like, what is wrong with you? You're giving a 7-year-old fucking fried eggplant for your main course. Like, anyway.
Fried eggplant is, I don't know, like we do, I don't know.
That was the main course was eggplant. Anyway, there was other meals that we made, but my grandmother would make curry, which she made. I don't know what recipe she got, but it was an authentic Indian recipe. And granted, we're in Oklahoma City, so I don't know that you can get all of the ingredients you need. But the curry she would make was green in color.
Yeah.
And it was also mild in
Spice.
It wasn't spicy at all.
But it was spicy in
It had curry
like
spice.
curry- like
it had
curry
curry
is.
spice, but no chili added to it.
Yeah.
But just understand when all you've had is green curry,
Yeah.
and then you go to a full on like Indian place where everyone is dressed like they're serving, like they're on the Orient Express in white tails and tuxes, and it's like full on like British Imperial service, and you order like 3 or 4 curries and it shows up and everything is either red or orange. You're like, all right, well, that's not what I grew up on. So, and then I dug in. I'm like, wow, whatever Granny made was great, but this is even better. So
You're sweating
anyway,
buckets over there.
but that's how, like, I don't know, but I'm also very
Tim's business partner, by the way, was Trent Grimm, the Independent.
absolutely. I just saw that scene 2 weeks ago. I started rewatching it. I was like, I need some fun or
That's the start of
nice
the
stuff in my life. I need to rewatch Ted Lasso again. And that was, I
That's
think,
the start of the brotherhood right there.
Yeah,
That's,
where he's just like, I can't do this. I can't eat this. It's like, no, we got to eat this. We got to eat it.
and shovels it onto his plate. and that's also the same night. Doesn't Roy go and confront Jamie about not making fun of Nate anymore? And
that is the episode where he hands out the books. Roy confronts Ted in the parking lot and says, "What the fuck is this with the
Wrinkle
books?
in Time.
Wrinkle in Time." And then Ted and then
he says it's about a little girl.
Krim unsolicited says, "Oh, it's a fantastic or some kind of
story about a little girl who develops like leadership, blah 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 blah."
Yeah,
and he's like,
"So you
want me to be a little girl?"
Yeah,
and it's like.
It's a fantastic book about a little girl who's confronted with the challenge of being a leader or something like that. And he's like, "So you want me to be a fucking little girl who's a leader?" And Ted doesn't say anything.
No, he does. He says, "I'd like you to be."
Oh, and then
that's what he said.
And then what Roy says, "Fuck me," and then turns around. Anyway, so yes, and then they go do the school clinic, what we would call clinic together, where Roy's doing the stuff with the kids.
Yeah.
And yes, and Krim's watching all this. And then, yes, is there at dinner and Ted is feeding him all of what Krim thinks are tropes. He's figuring out like, no, he actually believes all this bullshit.
Yeah.
And then Roy's in the bed with his niece and finishes the book.
Yep.
Fuck me.
So great. It's one of the best shows on the planet.
It is.
My parents watched it, and I had texted them 2 years ago, and I was like, "Hey guys, I really feel like you need to watch. This is one of the most wholesome pieces of television that I feel like you should ever watch." And they were like, "Oh, okay." And I knew, I was like, "All right, they're not gonna watch it." And then they came in. We're watching soccer when my parents came right after Jackson was born, and that weekend I think we're watching Seattle play. And I was like, "Oh yeah, I like the new Seattle jerseys." And my dad's like, "I want a Wrexham, or not a Wrexham, I want a Richmond, AFC Richmond," which he had also talked about wanting a Wrexham jersey because my parents come and watch.
They're in the same vein. I truly think both of the rich guys wanted to build a culture of,
I agree,
trying to be family within also trying to improve, and that's what happened. They got a lot of blowback after season 1 and 2 because they had to start letting guys go, and it was like, "Oh, I thought you were all about family." It's like, we're trying to do family while at the same time move up the table. And yes, sometimes
Yeah.
you
I
have
know.
to sacrifice one for the other. I can't keep holding on to this dude because he's a fan favorite when I can go out and get the guy who's going to get us up to the next level.
Right.
And no, I'm not being a hypocrite. I still mean that.
Yeah. And so the,
Anyway,
but my parents came in and they were like, oh, and my dad was like, oh, I want a Richmond jersey. And I was like, have you guys been watching Ted Lasso? And they were like, oh yeah, we love it. We just haven't watched the last episode. That's literally all. We're all caught up on all two seasons and whatever, all the way up until the end. They literally only had the last episode. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's awesome. Let's talk about it. So we talked about it for a bit. And then when I saw him again this last couple weeks, I was like, did you guys finish? And they're like, yeah, we love it. And I was like, oh, that's amazing. So I was super stoked. I think lots of people should watch it. There's lots to learn about just being a good, decent human being in that show. But anyways, all that to say,
yeah, I think
Tim doesn't like sauces.
Yeah, wow. And now I got to pee. So that was like a 30-minute side note. But if you're upset by that and you're listening to the Go to Hell podcast, I'm gonna go ahead and do the end now. If you're upset by that, you can go to hell. Like, we don't even know. Like, come on. Plus, I'm like, I don't know, 6 years in.
Jeez, what beer are we drinking next?
I don't know. Who do those we haven't had before? Okay, who do we want?
Right, we're good right now.
Each one on one. Yeah.
I picked this one because of the name. You want to take a guess at which one I picked?
Yeah,
I can tell you that my father owned one growing up. What? It's a Corgair. It's a Gremlin.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I was thinking, for some reason I had car in my mind. Hell yeah. I had a Strat for
I was like,
I had a Stratacaster for like 6 weeks and then I sold it. I have small hands. Did not work for me.
Wait, a Fender Stratocaster didn't work for you with small hands?
Mm-mm. And they actually make one that's even smaller than that for small hands. But I was like, nah, I'm just done.
Well, so like
this was when I was in college.
So I had a
yes, they do make a smaller fret than other guitar like Gibson stuff. But even for me, it was like I had the Stratocaster Squire, I think is the baseline one. It was still, I have small fingers.
My dad had the Stratocaster complete with the whammy bar. And it was white too. It literally looked like it was out of Wayne's World.
I think mine was red. Yeah, I went out and bought one with a little amplifier and everything. I was never good at, it was a bad idea. I'm very much better at listening and pretending that I know about music than playing.
So fun fact about Colton, I can actually play even though I've yet to do it ever on stage or ever showcase my abilities to anybody ever. But I can actually, and I have played, and actually, I've said actually now 3 times, including the one that I just said. I can play the bass.
Slap at the bass, man.
I can slap it. I owned a BC Rich Warlock when I was growing up.
Oh, I was going to say, you still do?
I used to own a BC Rich Warlock.
I haven't seen this thing. I've been at your house a couple times.
Yeah. Owned a fucking black metal gothic bass, and it was fucking sick growing up. And that's what I learned how to play bass on. Nolan can attest to this, by the way. He can't attest to whether or not I could play bass because I never played bass around anybody, but I used to always have I had a BC Rich Warlock in my garage or in my bedroom for all of high school, and I would play it and learn how to play on YouTube. And then I'm not saying I'm super good or anything, and I've never played in a band setting, and I feel like I would be terrible in that because I just don't know how to play with other people playing. But also I do know how bass works, and literally you just get to mess around. I did, and just kind of roll with shit as long as you are, where you're supposed to be in your clef, then you're going to be okay. So Yeah. So I know how to play the bass guitar. I know how to play the trumpet, and I also know how to play the ukulele. Those are the 3 things that I know how to play. So there you go. Fun facts.
You said what you said about being able to. I think that was my dad's problem with modern music. Like, particularly when I was in high school, he hated metal. When I say metal, I mean I don't mean like heavy metal. I mean the 80s heavy metal. So glam rock and that kind of stuff. Like Bon Jovi to Motley Crue.
Yeah.
Because his brain, and it was a bone of contention in our house because I'd be telling him, you're wrong, old man. Although, so his brain could not get around the fact that instruments were meant for rhythm and melody.
Yeah.
So when some dude starts ripping off a guitar solo, his 1944 born brain just could not wrap his head around that. It was always a sense of frustration to me.
Just like people couldn't wrap their heads around Elvis moving his hips. Like,
no, and so at some point I'd be like, oh, yeah, that this
hips
is
were
not
made for rhythm, guys. Just so you know.
Well, the problem was me because he gave me he was the one who gave me.
It smells good.
Oh, this beer is fantastic. We'll talk about the beer when we finally get to the Colton question. But to wrap this up, yeah, I was very frustrated with my dad, who was very musical and a very good singer. Like, I don't understand why you don't get this. And it was at some point I'd tell myself, like, no, you don't understand. Like, the whole idea of a guitar solo was literally like a new thing. That was people didn't do that. It was a new human invention. So I did before my dad died, I did get my dad very heavily into Pink Floyd, which won't mean anything to you, but I was very happy about that.
Well, that's because he likes to watch The Wizard of Oz.
He never, yeah. It's been minutes since I've done that too. And I was very drunk that night that I did it. Okay. So food and sauces.
All right.
And then we'll do the beer number 2.
All right. So what we
beer number 3.
Yeah, beer number 3. Actually, let's just get it over with. This is the Stratacaster Wet Hop IPA, which Wet Hop IPA is not usually my forte, but
it is skunky and it's fantastic.
Yeah, it's skunky, but it's still pretty crisp, which it doesn't.
I love it.
Which it doesn't usually. A Wet Hop IPA doesn't do that. It hits the senses with pungent power chords of dank and dirty riffs while harmonizing a melody of tropical fruit from fresh, wet strata hops, overnighted from the farm straight to our brewery, coming in at a 6.8 ABV, 78 IBUs, brewed and canned at CraftHaus Brewery, Henderson, Nevada. It's pretty good.
It's funky and it's funky in a really good way. Mm-hmm. It's delicious.
Absolutely.
Well done, then. It's dank. That is very dank.
It's dank, but it's still mild.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's
a proper dank IPA.
100%. It's kind of reminds me of Streets of Dankersfield.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Sauces.
Outside of California, it doesn't happen very much. All right, so to get back to what we were talking about
an hour ago.
We're getting back to Tim is going to answer these questions. I'll chime in on a couple of them to kind of facilitate discussion.
Correct.
Not that we need help with that ever. I'm going to ask Tim about a food, and he's going to say which sauce he prefers with that particular food. That's that sauce of all time. It's locked in. If you were to only ever have that sauce ever, there's going to be a couple of exceptions. So if you're like, okay,
there's no pizza on this list, is there?
Don't get ahead of things.
All right. Okay.
So first off, we're going to start off with the easy one, French fries. If you were to have a sauce with French fries, what sauce are you choosing for French fries?
If I'm having, this is starting off very poorly.
Oh.
This is not going to be popular
at all. Not poorly for me. You're saying that other people are going to judge you for it. I get it. That's okay.
I do. So just up front.
North Carolina roots are showing.
Nope,
just say it out loud.
Just up front. I am not a ketchup person.
I'm not a ketchup person either.
Ketchup is for children. I have said that many times at restaurants and gotten a good laugh.
Do you not have ketchup on, like if you go to In-N-Out, do you not put ketchup on your fries?
Hell no.
Okay. I do there,
No.
and that's literally like the only place that I use ketchup. But
Look,
that's
okay.
because In-N-Out fries suck.
No. Let me be clear. I don't hate ketchup, nor do I hate mayonnaise. I prefer neither one on what I'm going to get. So if I get a burger with ketchup, I don't send it back to the kitchen. Similarly, if I get a sandwich with mayonnaise or even a burger with mayonnaise, I don't send it back.
I thought your In-N-Out order is ketchup mustard on.
No, my order is mustard only.
Oh, it's mustard only.
No
Okay,
spread.
okay. No
I'm a
spread.
huge mustard fan.
I know that we both talked about no spread, and I thought you did ketchup and mustard.
No.
But you just do
I
mustard
think
only.
Danica, if she thinks about it, does that. No. So if I'm going to do, again, I'm the weird one. I accept this.
You're not
If
weird.
I'm going to use a sauce with a French fry, it's going to be mustard.
That's what I said. Just say it out loud. Your North Carolina roots are showing.
It
What
is
do
North
you
Carolina.
mean? You said no. That's what it was. I gotta say that I don't disagree with you. I actually like mustard on my French fries more than I like ketchup. But I will say the one thing that I prefer over that, and now I don't find a good version of this like hardly ever. But that's also because I'm very particular about my barbecue sauce. But if there is a really good barbecue sauce, I'll take that on my French fries over mustard. But I will say,
and again, I understand why people like ketchup with
I get that
a French fry. You're balancing out a very
salty, savory
starch with a sweet thing. It's
you
not.
didn't say milkshake. So
it's not illogical for someone to want ketchup with that. I don't need it. Particularly if it's a really well done French fry, all I need is what God gave me, which is a little bit of salt on a potato, and I'm perfectly fine with that.
100%.
But yes, I much prefer the bitterness of mustard to a sweet of a French fry, of a ketchup.
Okay, this one you get 2 sauces. 1 only counts as a sauce, and 2 counts as a dipping. Chicken wings.
Ooh.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah, also, by the way, Tim says that he doesn't like sauces, but anybody that's listening to this knows that...
chicken wings different.
No, I was like, everybody that's listening to this that knows Tim personally knows that knows that Tim and I both fuck with the chicken wings.
Yeah, I mean, if I show up at a place and they got really good chicken wings, that's my dinner. Like, I don't like... It might be on the appetizer menu, but I can roll with 12 chicken wings and I'm good okay.
It's the
what are my options again?
Any chicken wing sauce that you've ever had.
Does dry rub count?
I'll count dry rub, yeah. And then you can also have your dipping sauce as well. That's why I was like, all right, we'll give you the dipping sauce so like people can hear that you're a blue cheese guy.
So if I'm dipping, if I'm dipping a sauce,
that's what it was.
If I'm dipping, it's blue cheese, not ranch. And it's not because
yeah, no, I've also watched you eat. Salad was on the list, and we were going to hear you say out loud that blue cheese salad was going to be your option. So
no, here's my problem with here's my problem with ranch.
Well, I don't like ranch, so like you're preaching to the choir.
So here's my thing about ranch. I'm pretty sure when I was a kid, ranch was when ranch became a thing. So Hidden Valley Ranch introduced the world to ranch, which was a powder that you added sour cream and milk to.
Okay.
And then somewhere along the way, because of capitalism, other people started doing ranch. And then ranch became a thing where you bottled it up and you added, I don't know, half of its fucking canola oil or whatever. If I am given pure old school Hidden Valley Ranch, where it's whatever is in the powder, it's probably half monosodium glutamate and whatever else that makes Hidden Valley Ranch with, if you take homemade, quote unquote homemade, again, quote unquote homemade, Hidden Valley Ranch powder with milk and sour cream, that is fantastic. That is amazing. But these days, that's not what you get. You get some fatty, watered down bullshit that is not good. So I guess I would much prefer blue cheese.
I like ranch. So, but what are you choosing for your wing sauce or dry rub? I know my choice, and I'll say this while Tim's thinking. It's original buffalo. I'm not going for extra heat. I'm not going for mild. I like buffalo sauce, and so I'm not going for. Yes, if I go to someplace, I'm always getting a 50-50 split of usually some. I like the Asian sauces that kind of go with them.
Fair. Because
So
you're
like-
right. If it's an actual like old school,
Yeah,
proper buffalo where there's a lot of vinegar,
yeah.
it's vinegar,
The cayenne, It's the
cayenne,
whole-
and Frank's hot sauce. That's basically
Yeah.
buffalo, the original buffalo recipe.
original. I'm not gonna add
What's the angry British chef who's got a bunch of TV
Gordon?
shows?
Gordon. Jeff?
Gordon.
Or-
Gordon has a
Jeff Gordon.
fantastic original buffalo, and it's basically it's butter.
Yes.
It's melted butter, which is both for flavor and then coating. A
Fresno-
shit ton of Frank's hot sauce,
Oh, he does Frank's
cayenne,
hot sauce.
and that's about it. That is Buffalo Wild Wing.
Yeah.
So
Well, I know how to make my own Frank's hot sauce, which is a shit ton of Fresno chilies sit in salt water for a week. So
so just be clear. I have his recipe, but if anybody knows him, he's a lightweight when it comes to
heat. Yeah.
heat. So I like triple, I think, the amount of cayenne I add I either triple the amount of cayenne or paprika or both to get to the heat level that I want, because Gordon's just a lightweight, which Brits are lightweights. They don't like spicy food.
Although cayenne is a weird heat, by the way. Cayenne hits the palate and then leaves. Like it's literally like, hey,
that's why I
it's
also
like, bam, and then I'm gone.
that's
Like,
why I also increased the paprika, because paprika doesn't have the kick, but it has the linger.
Yeah.
So you got to
And-
increase both.
And paprika's also got the smoked kind
Correct.
of thing that goes on with it, where it's like that pairs well with chicken. But but that's the funny part about it. Just cayenne is like a little goes a long way, but meanwhile at the same time, cayenne is like your mouth feels warm, and then all of a sudden you're good.
All right, so I'm dilly-dallying.
Yeah, dilly-dallying.
If I had my choice, I do 50-50 because I'm going to cheat. I'm going to do buffalo sauce and Caribbean jerk dry rub.
Are you going Caribbean jerk?
Because I do enjoy a nice dry rub, and Caribbean jerk is a really nice. If it's done well, it's a nice spicy.
Which is so funny because if you order Caribbean jerk chicken, it's a wet.
It's
chicken
wet,
dish.
but
I know but it's just funny that like
Right.
it's a dry rub. In
but
the United
most
States,
buffalo, but most
Yeah,
places doing wings, it's a dry rub.
Yep, 100%.
And it's a nice, if it's done the way I like it, it's a 3/4 spicy, 1/4 sweet,
Yeah.
which is probably not actually Jamaican, but I don't care.
Well, and actually, I've eaten at a traditional Jamaican restaurant and had traditional Caribbean jerk chicken, and it's delicious. But it's so funny because it just wasn't what I was expecting because of what I've had from Caribbean jerk chicken. And
There's a really good food truck around here, and I have no idea if it's actually authentic or not.
The one that I had was in Seattle, in the part where my parents used to live was actually, it was like the African American central, like cultural hub.
Okay.
And so right down the street was this very authentic Caribbean, and that's where I had it for the first time. And I was like, and like I said, super good. It wasn't as spicy as I thought it was
it's
going
just
to be.
not as spicy.
Just like people, it had.
I think
it had like that cayenne element where it was like it hits the palate, but it's gone.
I think actually Americans have to train ourselves that we actually spice things up. This is not the case everywhere.
We're not talking about the Midwest. You people, you still put mayonnaise as hot sauce.
Yeah.
We're not talking about you.
There are certain foods. I'm thinking about that scene in Ted Lasso with the Ethiopian food where they're all dying. There are certain foods that we actually overspice that aren't actually spicy. So
All right, so you cheated. You went 50-50, but at least, we were able to iron down that you want the
if
original
you're gonna
hot.
give me
you
a
want-
classic Buffalo Wild Wing, yeah, I like a really good one.
Yeah, which I don't disagree with that at all.
No,
And I
there's a
think-
great commercial right now between it's Matt Damon and Beckham,
Oh, yeah.
which is, sorry, again, I'm gonna derail this for like 3 minutes. Matt Damon's now all like tatted up. If you know what Beckham looks like, Damon's kind of leaned into that.
Oh, wow.
Tori's got like stubble and visible tattoos. I'm like, okay, I guess we're having a late midlife crisis or something. Anyway, the commercial is, what is this? It's a buffalo it's buffalo chicken wing. So this is from Buffalo? So this is buffalo. No, it's a chicken wing and the spices come from buffalo. It's, it's what you would have in a moment where someone says from another country, what do you mean it's a buffalo wild wing or buffalo chicken wing? So, and then David eats it, and David, being a Brit who generally does not like spicy food, is having a hard time with the spice. And then Matt says, "Are you okay?" And he says, "Yeah, it's a little spicy." So anyway, yeah, I was surprised. I was like, man, Matt just decided to go all in on he looks like Goodwill Hunting at 55 or 60, whatever age he is. He's probably my age, 55. No judgment. I mean, Matt, he's been married to like the same woman for like 30 years. No, I mean, seriously, like, I mean, if we want to do like, Matt has political things that I don't agree with. Yeah, sure, whatever. He's got every right to believe whatever he believes. I'm going to still watch his movies, so he's not my bag, but I think he just seems like he seems like a genuinely nice guy, and his best friend, Ben, is a mess. And I love Ben because he has a mess for whatever reason. Ben's a mess. And I would love to hang out with both of those dudes and talk everything you and I talk about.
Yeah.
And I imagine, as judgy as you think Matt Damon and Ben Affleck are, because they certainly have been. I remember when Ben was on Bill Maher's show and they were criticizing Islam, but specifically fundamentalist Islam, and Ben and Affleck was losing his mind in a way he shouldn't have. I was like, sure, okay, fine. I would love to drink beer and have fucking Buffalo Wild Wings with those dudes and talk about Goodwill Hunting and growing up in Boston and them asking me questions, and just like, they seem like a good hang. So anyway, again, another non sequitur.
Well,
All right, what's next?
chicken nugget or the chicken tender.
Oof.
Something that you view as it should be good on its own, but if you were to give it a sauce, what would you give it?
All right, if I'm forced a sauce, I do
Basically, I'm just asking boneless chicken wings. What are you? So for all you boneless chicken wing orderers out there, yes, you are just ordering chicken nuggets that are just
I'm doing a spicy mustard.
pre-dipped. Oh, spicy mustard. Nice.
Not a sweet mustard, but a spicy
Yeah,
mustard.
not a honey mustard, a spicy mustard. Okay. I like it. It's not what I choose, but I like it. I like the Asian sauce for the,
Oh, that'll work too.
I don't, the more the sweet and sour comes out, the more I'm like, I prefer a sweet chili. So I want I want spice. So I want
Definitely want spice, but if there's no bone in there, I don't want it to be like a chicken wing.
yeah. So
Which is why I'm adamant. Like, if someone, I know we've been at like Buffalo Wild Wings with big groups for Vegas, and
Yeah.
people are ordering wings, and I don't. It's like, oh, how dare you? I get it. There's a group of people who prefer boneless, and I'm, yes, personally, I'm like, boneless is just a chicken nugget. So if I'm ordering a wing, I want a wing.
yeah, I want a wing.
I want to be able to take the wing, put it in my mouth, and
It's
ideally
also so much better.
just pull all the meat off in
Yep.
one thing, in one bite. I want to take a flat in my mouth, pull it out, and say, like, I did that, and then take the bone and throw it on the plate.
Well, that's not even. I don't have it for pride's sake to sit there and say I did that. The dark meat on a fucking wing, the bone-in wing, is just so good.
Oh yeah,
compared to the white meat that's on a tender.
Is it
Or on
white
a-
meat and a tender? That's also the thing. So yeah, if I'm gonna do, it's gonna be like a spicy mustard, maybe a honey mustard, but some kind of mustard if I'm doing a.
Yeah, I do the Asian,
Yeah.
a spicy Asian kind of thing, which also I do like on a wing as well. So like if I ever go to Wingstop or I go to Buffalo Wild Wings, I think is the Asian Zing.
that one's
I
a
like
good
that
one.
one. And I like the Korean.
Oh, anything
The
Korean.
Korean one from Wingstop is good.
Anything Korean's great.
Yeah, that one's it's again, it's a little bit of the honey sweetness, but also that citrus heat kind of thing
Yeah.
that kind of pairs really well together. So I like both of those on my wings. And actually on those, I don't want it to be too saucy. I think buffalo, you can get away with being, they can be saucier.
I mean, messy.
Yeah, messier. But on the Asian ones, I was like, I almost kind of want them like caramelized sticky on there.
So that's the thing. That is the issue with wings or boneless. I agree with you. If you're not going to do, my mind can deal with the messy buffalo,
Yes.
but pretty much any other flavor like that, it basically needs to be you glazed it on and then put it in the oven for like 2 minutes and kind of caramelized it and locked it on.
That's actually why I had to stop ordering wings at
So if you give me like the lemon zest, I think lemon zest tastes good at Buffalo Wild Wings. It's got a little bit of kick to it, but it's just this whole bunch of dressing, basically, and it's off-putting.
You should be off-putting.
I am off-putting on a regular basis, so.
That's a Between Two Ferns reference, everybody. Yeah, so that is the chicken nugget, chicken tender. Oh, geez. Hold on. Sorry. Got away from where we need to be. Okay. Now, this one, I'm going to let you choose the vehicle, and then you also have to choose the sauce. So I'm going to say chips, but you have to choose your preferred chip and the vehicle. So therefore, then the sauce that you would want on that chip.
Okay.
And it has to be, so out of all the chips, so pita chips, corn chips, potato chips, you have to make your decision and then decide what, if you only had one sauce and only one chip of that variety, which one are you choosing and which sauce are you choosing to go with it?
That's what's hard.
That's tough, man. Because you go to pita kebab and you know that cilantro jalapeno hummus fucking slaps on those pita chips.
A quote unquote chip and quote unquote salsa. I could live my entire life on that, depending on whatever that is in a broad term. Okay, so my number one is going to be a tortilla chip 100%. And queso.
That hurts my soul a little bit.
I'm sure
I
it
know.
does.
I get you.
Number two is going to be a potato chip, a really good potato chip, and French onion with sour cream, like mix up, like, and then
not a ranch dip.
Not ranch. No, it's the French onion Lipton or equivalent with mixing with sour cream. I'm sorry. Call me redneck or white bread, or I'm just no culinary taste. I mean, that's my number two. And then after that, give me a good tortilla chip and salsa, or give me a good pita chip and hummus. I'm really down. If you're hearing this, those are my number two, but also hear me, a good pita chip or just piece of pita bread and good hummus.
What are you doing Sunday?
What?
What are you doing Sunday?
I have no plans on Sunday.
You don't have any plans for like lunch on Sunday?
No.
Does Danica have any plans for lunch on Sunday? All right, we're going to lunch.
All right,
we're going to drive up to Visalia and we're going to all hop in the truck. Well, I don't know if we'll all hop in the truck. We'll take two cars because you don't want to deal with the car seat situation. I've only got one kid. I'm Audrey's gone this weekend. We're gone tomorrow night through like later afternoon Sunday. She's going to a wedding. I want to take you to a restaurant in Selma. This is my favorite Mexican restaurant of all time, and I want you to go try
In
their
Selma?
in Selma. Yeah. I spent 4 years of my life in
I
Selma.
know.
I know. So that's like there's a restaurant there that is authentic Mexican food. And I know, but you were talking about like you love the tortilla chips and the queso, which I don't have a problem with or whatever. But I want to tell you that when I think of what I want is I want these chips and I want this salsa. Like, I know that seems so weird.
I can't argue.
No. I know. You don't know. But I was like, if you don't have lunch plans on Sunday, or if you don't have any plans on Sunday, I was like, come help me take care of Reese. Because she's taking Jackson to her wedding that she's going to this weekend or on tomorrow night. And I was like,
your wife is a princess.
Yeah. And so her and Jackson.
Where's this wedding at?
It's in like Ripon.
Oh, well.
So she's going up to Ripon.
She's taking the little one? Oh, because he's still breastfeeding?
Well, the invitation said no kids allowed.
No, but why is she taking Jackson? Because he's still mama dependent and not.
Yeah. He's mama dependent.
Whereas Reese is
a toddler. So
Reese is mama dependent, but she'll put up with dad for 2 hours.
Yeah, exactly. So, and Reese and I got to get out of the house, and
that's so bad for dads. It's like, I know I'm not the one you wanted. I'm not the one that just gesticed you for 9 months, but here I am. So deal with it, daughter.
I don't have womb envy, which is a thing. Like, there's the whole penis envy versus womb envy. I don't have womb envy. I think that my daughter likes me for certain things and likes my mom or likes her mom for different things.
No, that's not what I'm. No, I think.
No, I
think what Reese is experiencing is what she should experience. This is so. When all of our kids were teenagers, Danica would tend on the soft side for whatever.
Yeah.
Like, someone's not doing well in school. Oh, they probably have a learning disability or something like, because
No, that's funny. I know.
And I would step in and be like, no, he's just a dumbass and he's not studying. And I'm not saying I won every time. So I don't want to be like, I knew everything.
Right.
But eventually it would come to where like I was right or my course of action, and she would apologize. And I would tell her every single time, do not apologize.
Yeah.
You are their mother.
Yeah.
Your job is to nurture.
Yep.
My job is to be the hard ass.
Yeah.
And when we disagree, our job is to get in a room where they can't hear us and fight it out. And it just so happens that like the last 4 times I won, quote unquote won, and I don't mean like that I was keeping score, and she didn't take it like that either. But I went out and went, no, you push back because I might be the asshole who's just the dad of like, no, fuck him. Like he needs to grow up and learn and get a pair, or she needs to grow up and realize this is what the world is, and boys are assholes. And like, no. I am their mother. This is the point where we need to love them. And there were times where like, so I kept telling her like, no, do not apologize. This is why we have men and women and not 2 men or 2 women raising kids, because I did not gestate that thing for 9 months.
Yeah.
Nor am I built over 100,000 years or 10,000 years or 3,000 years to be the nurturer. I am. Evolution tells me to go out and kill shit in order for the family to eat.
Yeah.
And your job is to, and so therefore I am single-minded. And my thing is to get shit done. And your thing is to protect and nurture and take care of 6 things, because 6 things are constantly running around and being distracted. And so when you get frustrated with me because I can't multitask, understand I am not wired to take care of 6 kids. I'm wired to go out and kill a deer so we can eat for a week. And at the same time, no. Tell me when you push back on me when I'm being the dick.
Yep.
And in this moment, I'm being the dick and I'm right.
Right.
But there's going to be 5 other times like, just lay off. He's fine. Or no, we need to protect him. He actually has a learning disability or whatever the thing is. Anyway, again, this is the episode of Tangent. Sorry, folks.
Well, like I was saying, if you're available for lunch on Sunday,
Sounds great. I don't
let's
need
go
to sit
grab
around and
lunch.
watch football. I don't care about anymore on Sundays. So we'll get out of the house.
Well, I was like, it'll only be like 2 hours. Give it the half hour to Selma, the half hour back, and the hour for lunch. I was like 2 hours to hang out, enjoy a good meal, and go from there.
Where is this place in Selma?
It's called Rosalinda's. So Sal's is the main famous one in Selma. That's where all
It's
the white
east of the 99.
That's where. Oh, yes, it is east of the 99.
It's got to be because
Sal's is on the west side of the 99, and that's where all the white people go to eat.
Because that's where all the white that's where Walmart and all the other bullshit's been built.
But on the east side and into the city, almost before you're heading out eventually towards Reedley and out there.
Oh, so in the far east part of town.
It's not super far east. You got to go past the high school about a mile, and then you'll hit Rosalinda's.
But it's not within a half a mile of the 99 is essentially downtown.
Yeah, you got to get into Selma.
Okay.
Like people
past,
don't know about this place.
You're past the anyway, okay.
But these people, they make menudo on Saturdays and Sundays.
Oh, well, all right, I'll tell Danica that. I'm not a menudo person.
I'm not a menudo person, but just know
but
that's how authentic they are.
I try to be adventurous. I'm never going to be a menudo person. My son Jeff is, because his grandmother on his dad's side makes menudo, and so he loves it. God bless him. But Danica, because she married Jeff's dad and had them as parents, in-laws, she's a menudo person. So we're doing this.
And I mean, okay,
so chips and salsa,
but also like all the food there, I genuinely love that I've had. I was like, my parents love this place. My mother, loves their tamales. Their tamales are all hand rolled. They're all freshly made.
All right, we just wasted 20 minutes. I'm all in on tamales.
All right, cool. I was like, let's
no,
go.
Danica and I went up for Mother's Day once to a place in Reedley that also had, I don't think it was Mexican, I think it was Central American, but it had really good reviews. Yeah. And you walk in and it was just
this place is
not a shithole. It was a nondescript place in a strip mall. But we walked in and it was authentic. Whatever food they were making, it was outstanding. And then I think her grandparents are buried in Reedley, so that kind of added to it. So anyway, no, we're doing it.
Let's do it. Okay, next one. You got 2 more. Pizza. You get to choose your sauce, and then this one is either your dipping sauce
on the pizza,
or drizzle on top. So I'll give you. You got sauce on the pizza, and then a dipping sauce or drizzle on top, or you can choose none. It's up to you.
Okay, so I will say, when I started dating my wife and moved here, dipping your pizza in ranch was a thing.
Oh, it's still a thing.
No, it's still a thing. And I was very adamant like that. Okay, when I started dating you, and then you guys like to talk about how you're redneck. This is officially redneck. Like, dipping pizza in the fucking ranch dressing is the most redneck thing ever, because why does anyone need to, pizza should be a vehicle of whatever it is. So I don't dip pizza into anything. If I was going to drizzle.
Let's hear your drizzle.
That gets complicated. Because the best pizza I've ever had is a margarita pizza. If you don't know what that is, it's basically just cheese and basil and leaves of basil.
Wait, with his sauce that he's talking about, it's a very light red sauce.
Light red sauce. So if I'm going to drizzle, it's going to be like a garlic olive oil or something onto my pizza. It's going to be something that just enhances the garlic or something like that on the pizza. but I don't need.
But with the red sauce is what
But
you're
yeah,
saying.
but with a red sauce. Now that said, some of the best pizza I've ever. There was a place in Encino. There was a place, I think it was Encino, which is part of the San Fernando Valley, which is suburbs of Los Angeles. My buddy John had heard about this place, and people were raving about their, what was it? Buffalo chicken
The buffalo chicken pizza is
pepperoni pizza.
Oh,
So they had pepperoni on it too. Was it pepperoni? It was buffalo chicken pepperoni. And the first time we heard it, it sounded disgusting. It was a one-off place. It was not a chain. It wasn't even a chain to like the Los Angeles area, San Fernando Valley. It was a one-off place. So we ended up finally doing it, and it was some of the best pizza I've ever had in my life. Because, I mean, if you think about it, because you get a nice, was it buffalo chicken? It's buffalo chicken. Yeah, it was buffalo chicken and pepperoni. Basically, it's buffalo chicken on a regular pepperoni pizza. And everything just played off each other, and it was amazing. And then we spent like 2 years convincing every friend we had, like, no, you got to come to this place, and it sounds disgusting. No. It was it was buffalo chicken. Yeah, it was buffalo. We had to like, it was just one attempt after another. No. This town, we're going to go here. We're going to order the pizza. Just take what we serve you. It's going to be amazing. No, sorry. It was barbecue chicken.
Oh, barbecue.
There was barbecue chicken.
All right,
pepperoni pizza. That's what it was.
Now you definitely lost me. I was like,
it was barbecue chicken pepperoni pizza. It was not buffalo chicken. I was like, that didn't sound right.
I was like, if you go buffalo chicken, I get how that would be hard to convince people.
No, it was barbecue chicken, but it was some sort of spicy barbecue chicken.
Okay, because that's also okay. So wait, hold up. There are two parts to this. One, there is buffalo chicken that you can definitely order for pizza, and that's off-putting for lots of people because lots of people don't like buffalo sauce, and I don't blame them for not
and
liking
then you're
buffalo
adding it
sauce
to pepperoni, which is in of itself to some level spicy.
Right, and so I was like, okay, that makes sense. I get why people would be turned off to that. Barbecue chicken, I don't like on pizza, and I've only had like chain level barbecue chicken, and so I believe what you're saying, but I'm saying that that's off-putting to me because of the sweetness level, and I don't like barbecue sauce on pizza. I'm like,
I will say, I have never. So it worked at this place.
Yeah.
Whatever Mama Papa was in Encino or Canoga Park or wherever we were. On Ventura Boulevard. It was on Ventura Boulevard in San Fernando Valley. I will say, I have never said, like, you know what I want is more of that at any other place I've been. And I've seen it on the menu. I think California Pizza Kitchen had it on the menu. And I was like, nope, not going to do it. Because it requires the perfect barbecue sauce to where it is sweet, but is not too sweet that it overdoes the pepperoni.
Yeah.
So if I'm going to do a drizzle, I think Blaze allowed you to do a drizzle. I would do like a garlic.
There's lots of places that allow you to do a drizzle now.
You cannot put too much garlic on whatever I'm going to eat. So yeah, it'd be like a garlic olive oil drizzle. And no dipping sauce. I don't need dipping sauce on Papa John's is the big one that likes to do. Well, it's not a dipping sauce though that Papa John's does. Papa John's does garlic butter, which, yeah, who doesn't like that with a bread with some meat on it? But Domino's tends to be more like just marinara sauce and stuff like that. No, I don't need that.
Yeah, when it comes to pizza, don't get me wrong, I wish that a lot of other pizza joints. Geez, I'm like adding. Am I Derry from? Not Derry. It's the guy from Letterkenny that adds S's to shit. Dan, but what's his nickname? Yeah, sauces is what it's Squirrely Dan. There we go, Squirrely Dan. Yeah, I was thinking Dirty Dan, and I was like, no, that's not it. Squirrely Dan. Yeah. Not Steely Dan. So I do have a lot of respect for Alfredo sauces or pesto sauces on pizza. I think that those need to start being incorporated more and more and more. Or even just olive oil on pizza dough to then make way for other things. I will say I do agree with Tim. I think a light tomato sauce margarita style is delicious. I will take pepperonis on mine, and the only reason why I'll take pepperonis on mine is because of what I'm about to say right now is the drizzle that I want on top of that. And I've been bit by the bug because it's only in the last probably like 5 or 6 years that this has come about as an acceptable pizza topping, but it is the correct pizza topping if you're doing a drizzle on top. Hot honey, dude.
Oh yeah, you're a big hot honey guy.
I don't understand it. But like the combination of the spicy, sweet, savory thing.
No, I'd forgot about hot honey.
I don't know how that blends so well together, but if you get a good, like even like a fennel sausage and
No, the way
thing,
most really good pizza places make pizza these days, the hot honey is a really good.
You're just like,
addition.
dude. Listen,
I'd forgot about hot honey.
I don't mind
Planing Mill. Yeah, you're thinking Planing Mill. They made a really
Planing
good.
Mill. There's a place in Seattle that makes fantastic pizza, and I've had one of their hot honey drizzles on one of theirs, and I'm like, dude, this place, oh golly. And my parents are like, they don't get it. There's some people that don't get it, and I don't blame you for not getting it. You're just like the sweet, but it's literally for me, it's almost kind of like chicken and waffles.
That's the thing with honey, though. A really good honey is not that sweet. It's not sugar.
No, it's not. Like it's not.
Which is why a good hot tea you don't add sugar to. You just add some honey to.
Yeah, it's not like overbearingly sweet.
No, yeah,
but I feel like
it's just not pure sucrose or whatever it is.
Yeah, but it feels like it just elevates the pepperoni or whatever that's going on there.
Yeah,
and that's why I emphasize I don't want hot honey on a margarita.
No,
because that's not going to elevate it or anything.
No, you're
but
balancing
if
out
you've got already this kind of spice element to it, it just like kind of binds together the tomato and the pepperoni to kind of just bring everything, because you would then have the saltiness of the cheese, you have the sweetness of the honey, you have the spiciness from the pepperoni and the honey, which then kind of connects through all three layers. And then you have this kind of bread that brings everything together. Perfect.
Margarita pizza is dicey because that is really the true Napoli. No, but that's true.
I'm thinking about a memory that I have about going to. So we went to a couple of years ago. Sorry to another tangent. This is the episode of tangents. Tim's already said it. We went to Louisville, Kentucky, and we were hungover as shit. It's me, Eric Pedersen, Alec York. We're hungover as shit. That whole day, we're just kind of laying low. We don't really do much. We're just kind of like, we went to distilleries in the morning. We didn't really drink a whole lot. Buffalo Trace was out of whiskey. Fucking wild. We had done a tasting at Woodford Reserve that morning. We had went to Buffalo Trace. We went through their botanical gardens, and we're just kind of chilling. We had lunch. We just went back to the hotel. We were staying at a really nice hotel in the dead center of Louisville. And we just chill out. I had class because I was going through a program.
You guys stayed at the hotel.
We stayed at the hotel in Louisville, which is the Brown. If you don't know where the hot brown comes from, that's from the Brown Hotel. If you don't know,
COVID was good for something.
I was like,
you guys.
Yeah. If you don't know about the Brown family in Louisville, they also own the racetrack where all the horses were.
No, you guys literally stayed at the racetrack.
Downs.
You stayed at the official hotel for the Kentucky Derby.
And it cost just as much as it did to stay at the KOA.
Yeah, so.
Which Eric was upset about at first, by the way. Eric was like, so we're staying at a hotel. Hold up. We're going to back up this story just a little bit, just let you know. We stay at a hotel, and we end up having to stay in a hotel because we didn't know where we were going to end up in our drive. So some people might get pissed off by we didn't plan out how things were going to go, but we were just like, when we took our road trip, it was about we're just going to drive until we get tired. And this is, what we're going to feel. And so we had been driving through the day. So we had left upper Wyoming or southwestern Wyoming. We leave southwestern Wyoming and we don't know where we're going to end up for the night. And so we're driving, and I like plan everything out based off of Eric and Alec kind of have a set amount of hours of which they want to drive. And then me, I'll take whatever their hours are and I'll probably add like 4 more to it. Eric didn't really like driving at that point. Alec didn't really like driving at that point. So it was like Alec was going to drive 4 hours. Eric was going to drive 4 hours, and then Colton was going to drive 8. And so that was going to be, a 16-hour day driving. And so we end up where it's like, okay, we're going to end up around Kansas City. And let's try to end up on the Missouri side. We want to be there to just kind of establish, And so we're going, blah, blah, blah. And in the late afternoon, I call KOA because we're staying at KOA's. But time difference, we had already crossed over, but I don't think we had crossed over when I initially called. They were still an hour ahead and they had already closed their thing or whatever. And so it was like, so we get to KOA later that night at probably like 11 p.m. and they don't have a cabin for us. We'd have to set up tents and all that kind of stuff. And I said, there's a $90 fucking spot where we can stay in a Holiday Inn. Eric's pissed. Eric's like, why the hell are we staying in a Holiday Inn? Why are we staying in a hotel? Blah, blah, blah. Wow. He's upset. We get in there. We're like, whatever. Shut the fuck up, Eric. And so we're in there and everybody's taking showers. And while people are taking showers, I'm taking a look at, because we're going to be in Louisville the next day. And I'm taking a look at KOA prices. And I'm like, oh, geez, it's going to be about $75 a night to stay outside of Louisville in a KOA. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to check, because I had to already check for where we're going to stay for our hotel for that night. And I go and I check hotels, and the Brown Hotel is offering $75 a night, the same price as it was going to be for a KOA outside of the city. The Brown Hotel is offering $75 a night for our entire stay there. So we book $75 a night for the Brown Hotel. We show up. We look like frat boys from fucking California. Eric decided to ride half of the trip shirtless because he wanted somebody to flash him. And we pull up into the Brown Hotel looking ragged frat boy. Everybody's wearing suits.
Again, if you're listening to this, if you Google the Brown Hotel, what comes up is the Kentucky Derby Hotel.
Everybody's wearing suits there. And Eric's like, we are not supposed to be here. And I was like, it was $75 a night.
We paid,
Eric.
bitches. COVID finally paid off.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Shut up.
Yeah, so we go up into our room. They got robes for each of us. It was great. It was fantastic. We got to have one of the coolest experiences in Louis. And by the way, I've looked up staying in the hotel after that. It's quadruple the price of what we paid to stay there a night. And it was awesome. Yeah, a memory I will never forget. I don't know what this has to do with sauces. What were we talking? Oh, pizza. Right. Okay. So anyways, so we're there so we were hammered. We were drunk. I get done with class and I'm like, dude, I need to go get something to eat. Alex in a mood, which is funny because Eric and Alec were both in different moods at different times. But Alec was having anxiety issues. And so I wasn't pressing that. Eric would just get hungry. But we went, so I was like, oh, I'm going to go get some food. And I had Yelped this spot. For those of you that have never used Yelp before, I highly recommend it. But there was a spot right down, like probably 5 doors down from the hotel. It's this little like hole in the wall pizza joint. And they were also showing the women's soccer game because the women's soccer team for the United States was playing that night. And Eric was like, oh, I'll go with you. So Eric goes with me and we get down there and I'm feeling bleh. I'm just like, I just want something light. And so I go and I'm like, I'll just take a margarita pizza, please. I just want a personal margarita pizza. And they're like, perfect. We got it. We'll get it out to you. And I was like, oh, thank goodness. Just this light, whatever. That shit was the butteriest, fucking parmesaniest, fucking saltiest, greasiest margarita pizza I've ever had in my life. It was fantastic, but also at the same time, I was like, this is not what I was looking for right now. I was like, this is a chore. It was tough. That's not what I'm looking for in a margarita pizza.
That wasn't a proper margarita pizza.
No.
A proper margarita pizza is supposed to be very light. I think it's Napoli Italian inspired.
That's probably about right.
Sounds right.
Yeah,
it's definitely not Tuscany. Light. Again, it's supposed to be light. It's supposed to highlight the bread, much like in America, we think pasta is all about the sauce. That is not how Italians think about it. Pasta is supposed to be the pasta and not the sauce. The sauce is supposed to highlight the pasta.
Yeah, and
where
often,
we like to drown our pasta in sauce, and the pasta is a mechanism to shove more sauce in your mouth.
Yeah,
that is not the way it is, and I think that's the same way with pizza in Italy as well.
Yeah, and most pasta dishes in Italy are olive oil cooked with an herb or a veggie of some sort.
Correct.
And they use all parts of the vegetable. They don't trim or cut any of it off.
It's just everything simmered in a pan.
Yeah, it's just simmered, and then that becomes the sauce from it. So
mixed
it's like
up
peppers.
with a pasta that is not as soft, again, as what we serve as pasta. It's a little more crunchy.
Yeah.
Tough. Tough's not the right word. Crunchy.
Oh, and even like a tomato sauce, which is popular here, which is an Americanized. A lot of Americanized tomato sauce, but it's usually there. It's crushed tomato that's then cooked in the olive oil to then.
Correct. Where ours is just pulverized tomatoes into the sauce.
Exactly.
Yeah, there's a lot more depth to the sauce with Italian food than what we're used to. Ours is just, whatever it is. I'm sorry. We Americans, we debase everything to the bare minimum. Anyway.
And then process the fuck out of it.
Yeah.
So.
But if you've had a really good margarita pizza. All right. So.
And your last one. Chips. Sorry, not chips. We already went through chips. Fish. Of a fish and chips. I want
fish and chip.
Fried fish.
If it's done properly, I need a little bit of malted vinegar.
That's mine.
Just a little bit. Not too much, but malted vinegar. If it's done correctly, I need a little bit of malted vinegar and then a well done tartar sauce.
Dill, no dill. Caviar, no caviar.
No caviar or dill.
No caviar with dill. Do you like it with caviar or no?
I will take it with caviar, but I would prefer dill for sure.
Dill for sure.
Because the dill works with both the just plain.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. That's also, what was that I had recently? I don't think it was in Vegas. I had a meal recently. I don't remember if it was you or somebody else. It was very, like the frying on whatever they'd done to fry it was very much above and beyond what we're used to. We're like, okay, I could just eat that on my own. Whereas a lot of what Americans do is just...
You're not talking about Pismos.
It wasn't Pismos. It was something else.
I was like, Pismos? I think the last time you and I had fried fish together was the beer marathon. You and I had the fattiest fish fillets, fish and chips at Stone.
It wasn't that. It was something very recent, but it was a reminder that, no, it was something very recent. I think it was something in Vegas.
Nice.
And it was very well breaded. And we're like, yeah, see, if you bread something, if I add a sauce to it, it just is an addition, but I don't have to.
Yep.
And it's not, but most of the food we have as Americans, it's either it's overbreaded.
Yeah.
9 times out of 10, it's overbreaded because whatever breading was used was not properly seasoned. And so you just overbread the shit out of it. Or you're trying to mask the fact that you've got low grade catfish, or you're trying to sell somebody on fucking gator meat, and gator meat's garbage. And so you load it up with a whole bunch of seasoning and breading to cover up the fact that it's just tough, fucking gamey meat. And that's a lot of what American food is. It's just like, I'm going to dress it up with as much bullshit so you don't realize it's just lousy stuff. Because, I mean, that's how the country was built. I mean, it's mostly poor people trying to survive.
Yep.
And we learn how to get by, or in the deep, particularly the deep South, but elsewhere between the 1915 and 1945, you're trying to figure out how to exist on cornmeal, bacon, and bacon grease. So how to make meals out of that. And there's an entire culinary way of making food out of that. So,
Yep.
And it's, the base of that is illustrated in your and I's arguably favorite movie, or one of our favorite movies, To Kill a Mockingbird.
Yes.
Because when the poor kid is made fun of because he's drowning everything he eats in molasses, because he eats things that have no flavor. He's literally eating sawdust that's been cooked in pig fat. And so he's going to throw as all the molasses he can on it to make it easily eaten. So,
well, and just so we're clear, actually, let's take that a step now into the 21st century. It is what Mexicans use spice for, and it is what a lot of people in our area use spice for. So if you actually do research on spice and what it does for the palate and what it does for the stomach and all that kind of stuff. So like a lot of people associate stomachs with, or spice with, ulcers. Spice actually doesn't cause ulcers. It can inflame ulcers.
Correct.
So if you already have an ulcer, it can cause issues with that, but it doesn't cause ulcers.
no.
But it does also cause you, the spice also limits your intake. It makes you feel fuller than you already are. It makes
Correct.
you not.
It's the same way with
as
Asian
much.
food, just not just.
And so people will eat it and then feel fuller, and also at the same time have more flavor, quote unquote, with this whole, and again, to equate it to the molasses situation that you're talking about, where it's like people coat shit in spicy shit because, again, they don't have much. And so
You're just trying
it's
to.
also Asian
so-
cuisine.
You're
Similar,
eating whatever calories you can get.
Yep. And those elements don't add any calories, but it makes you feel fuller than
Right.
you already are.
The molasses does add calories, but it uses calories. But
Yes.
when you are less than dirt poor and white in the South, or black in the South in 1938, every empty calorie you can get in the form of melted fucking sugar, you're going to take, because it's better than nothing. But yes, I'm pig fat and molasses fed an entire generation. So, all right, was that it?
That was
So
it.
I supposedly passed all my. All right, we're at 2 hours. We've accomplished nothing. I have one minor topic. It's not a minor topic, but I think this will get us to the end of the episode. So we're recording on October 24th. This will probably drop 4 days from now, towards the end of the month. We're coming on Veterans Day. Veterans Day is what? November 1st?
No. November 11th, I think.
All right, we're coming up to it.
It's on a Tuesday. I'll tell you right now.
Tell me what it is, but I don't think it matters.
It
What
doesn't matter, but it is November 11th.
Okay,
It's
so
Tuesday, November 11th.
all right, so we're gonna probably record and drop another episode between now and then, but I don't care. I want to get this off my chest because I want everyone who listens to this to kind of think about Veterans Day this year. Mainly because I think the average American doesn't understand what Veterans Day is. It's basically turned into Memorial Day.
It's a day for veterans, obviously.
Well, that's what we call it, but that's not really what it is. So, I mean, you're not wrong either.
No, I'm just messing.
If you were to celebrate Veterans Day in any other Anglo country, That might not be Anglo countries. It might be France as well. It might be Germany even. I don't know, but I know for sure if you're doing what we call Veterans Day in the UK, most people, the thing to do, much like how we have ribbons to celebrate particular days of the year. The thing to do in the UK is to put have a poppy flower on your clothing.
Yes.
And I assume that's the same way it is in Australia and New Zealand and Canada, being that they are part of the Commonwealth. And why is that? It's because Veterans Day comes out of a particular time of World War I.
Nope. It's because they have opium addictions. Thank you.
So, I am asking everyone who listens to this to be more aware of Veterans Day this year than we normally are. And I include myself. I have never taken Veterans Day seriously myself. Veterans Day to me just seems like Memorial Day light. Like, it's just another day to celebrate everybody who served in the military and blah, 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 blah. And unfortunately, that is not where this holiday came out of. The holiday came out of a remembrance of specifically World War I, which the average American, I would include myself, doesn't know as much as they should. We know a lot about World War II, but we don't know a lot about World War I. And World War I was a particular, you can argue World War II was worse in a lot of ways. Civilian deaths, certainly how the Nazis killed the Jews and the Gypsies, etc. It was all worse. But we don't understand how bad the army-to-army combat was in World War I. And after World War I, we established this Veterans Day, what we call Veterans Day. I don't remember what it's called in UK, as a holiday to try to remember not to do this again. And unfortunately, we have. And unfortunately, the Ukraine-Russia war is in very strange way the closest thing to World War I style fighting that we've had in our lifetime. So I'm going to read some stats to you just to understand how bad World War I was, and so that we be mindful of this when we come to World Veterans Day, that we understand why this holiday came about. And I think, Colton, you would agree, this podcast, in as many ways as possible, is trying to breed, like, we don't want to be anti-military.
No,
We are not anti-military. I still, even though I don't like a lot of what our military does, I still respect. I want to say revere. I'm not going to say revere. I respect the people who serve in the military and what they do. We live in a fallen world. They are filling the gap.
Yeah.
I would prefer not to live in that world, but I'm not naive enough to know that the United States doesn't need a military, and we need people who are going to fill that gap and do the things that you and I in particular don't want to do. But at the same time, I would hope that people who listen to this show in whatever capacity they have are being pacifists. Pacifist light, like arguing, like, do we really need to do this?
Yeah.
Is there not a downside to choosing warfare? Can we at least be honest that when we decide to go to war, we have decided to invoke revelation in our lifetime? I mean, we've talked a little bit about revelation. To me, where I'm at right now in my view of the Bible and revelation is a reoccurring curse on humanity. And if you want to get really like spiritual about it, is because Satan's continually trying to figure out, yes, he's trying to figure out who's going to be the Antichrist who overthrows God and Jesus's time frame. But I think, I would say that a good understanding of revelation is It is a nonstop reoccurring of good versus evil. Napoleon burning the fuck out of Europe and marching on Russia was basically like the Antichrist. Hitler declaring war on the world and destroying Europe was, yes, he was either literally an attempt to be the Antichrist or Antichrist archetype. And so, as Christians, let's not look at let's respect those who die for us, but let's not revere and mythologize that.
Agreed.
Okay, so in order to make that very apparent,
We're
I'm
gonna
gonna
sign
read some
in
stats.
blood right now.
What?
Oh, I said never mind. I said we're gonna sign in blood right now. We're gonna put that in. Yeah. Anyways, keep going.
So again, this holiday is based on World War I. I don't think 95% of Americans, including myself, I mean, I've read one or two books on World War I, but World War I is one of those wars very much like the Civil War and stuff like that, where you could read, it takes like 20 books to understand how demonic it was. Colton talks about hell and heaven on earth. And World War I was hell on earth. Europe in between 1914 and 1918. If you have any idea what hell is, it was Europe between that period. Whether you were serving on the front lines or not. It's mass starvation and death and all these kind of things. So to punctuate that, I'm going to read some stats and then also a quote from a book from a British soldier who was there. So, in 1916, 30,000 casualties occurred every day. I'm going to repeat that. In 1916, there were 30,000 casualties every single day. No. At the Battle of the Somme, there were 60,000 casualties alone. One battle. At Verdun, no, there were 60,000 dead at the Somme. 60,000 dead, not casualties. At Verdun, there were 800,000 casualties between both sides.
Right.
800,000.
Yes.
At Frontiers, the Battle of Frontiers, there were 700,000 casualties between both sides.
Nobody cares.
At the Marne, another battle, there were 600,000 casualties.
Nobody cares. Nobody even knows the names of those battles.
And at the Pashadad, which is what we call Flanders, that's where the poem of Flanders, which is where the flower, the poppy flower that the Brits observe on Veterans Day, that battle, there were 800,000 casualties.
The war to end all wars.
The war to end all wars, which then led to another one because we're so stupid. Now I'm going to read a quote.
But didn't.
Now I'm going to read a quote from.
Well,
from Flanders.
Well, but I'm going to say from. I mean, we talk about World War II, and that's the one that we like to look at. But again, you can look at World War II and the attack on humanity that happened in World War II that was different than World War I. But yeah, I don't think aside from the bubonic plague, the world had never faced this kind of mass exodus of humanity that happened after World War I.
World War I arguably ended only because the Spanish flu hit both the U.S. and European continent, which then rendered both sides of the military obsolete.
Yeah.
It wasn't U.S. GIs who showed up who won World War I. It was famine on the German side coupled with the Spanish flu that led the German, and then also literally a revolution amongst the German.
Yeah, again, go read All Quiet on the Western.
Yeah,
that's one of the most jaw-drop.
The Germans sought a peace treaty after they'd had famine, the Spanish flu, and then Bolshevism started causing basically a revolution on the German side. And in order to make sure that it wasn't a communist country that was signing over the peace treaty, they signed an armistice with the Allies, which is not what we call it, but that's what we called them in World War II. The word that we called them in World War I escapes me, but it was, again, Americans like to tell ourselves, "Oh, we sent the GIs over and we won the war." That's not what won the war. It was fucking Spanish flu.
Yep.
Again, this is from Flanders or Passchendaele. A British private who was there said, if you fell off the duck boards, which is basically the boards that were underneath you when you were walking either in a trench or between trenches, you never got out. Men and horses sank and they just disappeared. The official British account of the battle, based on interviews and written accounts from the men who saw it at Passchendaele, recalled a party of men passing up to the front line found a man bogged down to above his knees. The united efforts of 4 men with rifles under their armpits made not the slightest impression, and
They
to
had
dig.
foremen in this fight?
What?
I said they had foremen in the fight? What the heck? I thought they were supposed to be repairing tanks or something.
And there was, made not the slightest impression, and even to dig, even the shovels even if they'd been available, was impossible, for there was no foothold. So they had no ability to even get their feet in the ground to dig out this dude out of the mud. Duty compelled them to move up on the line, and 2 days later, when they passed down that way, the wretched man was still there, but only his head was visible. And he was raving mad, as one would be if one had been trapped in mud for fucking 72 plus hours. There are stories of men trapped like this and begging for their friends for mercy of a bullet, and their friends often gave it to them and carried that memory with them on top of everything else.
Yeah, again, I think there's no greater book for this than All Quiet on the Western Front. And it's told from the German perspective. So go read that book.
100% read that from the German perspective, particularly this day where we view reading things from the enemy perspective as some sort of sign of traitorism or something. No, read it from the other side.
Yeah, and also what's great about it is, again, it idolizes war to begin with.
It does. That's how we've created this myth. This is where I'm going to push back. This is where it really gets terrible. We've created this myth in the West, and this is even in the movie you and I love, Chariots of Fire.
Yeah.
Where World War I was some concoction of the elite class who wanted to go to war. And that is not true. The war infection, similar to in some instances, but not nearly as infectious as in our U.S. Civil War, went all the way down to the lower class. It was not an upper class idea of creating some upper class of some mythical romantic thing of I'm going to go off and fight for my country, which understandably we think of the United States as being invented in 1776, and that's true. Europe was still in doubt. Germany was a relatively new country, and so nationalism in Germany was a very much a new thing. And so World War I was not just strictly a concoction of elites who then decided to send a bunch of 17-year-olds off to their death for 4 years. No, you had middle class and lower class boys who embraced this ridiculous, Greek mythical idea. Or in the UK, if you're reading Shakespeare and Henry V and the speech at Agincourt of I'm going to go off and save Britain from the terrible Hun. And if I'm German, I'm the Hun who's going to go off and save my new Reich from the terrible, debaseless French and their German and their English allies. This was really bad romanticism, male romanticism run amok. And then, yeah, sure, about 3 or 4 months in, then everyone who'd signed up for it was like, oh, this is a terrible idea. Because everyone thought it was going to end in 2 months.
Yep.
And then it didn't.
It did not.
Then it did not. And then for 4 years, no one had the stone. No one wanted to be the one who ended it. And so, did you know this, Colton? There is a quote. I don't mean to repeat this like Churchill. This means Churchill's a monster. Although you could make that case.
Yeah, I was like, well.
But it's a controversial opinion. But there's a quote by Churchill in his diary in 1918, within a month or two of the war ending. Maybe it's more than a couple months, but it's in 1918. So it's at the peak of the war, where he says, if things don't break and the Germans don't surrender, we might be faced with dropping mustard gas on German cities.
Wow. I mean, just so we're clear,
No, I know where you're going. I think
I was like, you know
that.
where I stand on this. Again, I
mean, that's what Grant did to win the Civil War.
Well, yeah, it's what Sherman did.
Sherman did.
Yeah. Again, that's where.
Although he was mostly tearing up rail lines and.
Yeah. But am burning cities, and crops and all that kind of stuff. I'm just like, yeah, again, we never mind. We've already discussed it at full. Where again, the whole idea is, I still don't understand why when it comes to war and all that kind of stuff, we just sit there and we're like, yeah, there's a certain set of rules we got to follow. And I'm like, well, what happens someday when somebody doesn't follow those rules? Because that's how we live our lives right now, right? We currently, no offense to anybody that has, I don't have a problem with you owning a gun in the United States, but I was like, you live by those rules daily, where it's not about me. It's about, what about the other guy? What about the guy that has his gun illegally? I was like, and so we live our lives that way. And so we're just like, oh yeah, we'll follow the rules of war for some fucking reason that I don't understand.
That is the slippery, like.
And so if you're going to sit there and look at the rules of war, I'm like, why the fuck didn't you drop mustard gas on them? And you're like, oh, because it'd be on my conscience. And I was like, when the fuck did you start caring about that?
So there's a really good World War II movie called A Bridge Too Far. And it's a 3-hour epic. It was made like 1976. It's about a very specific battle in World War II where the Allies try to capture 5 bridges in Belgium and the Netherlands. And if they capture these 5 bridges, then basically just like Patton and Montgomery can pour all their tanks into Germany and win the war. And this is 1943, I think it is. No, it's 44. It's a little bit after D-Day.
Well, and wait, hold up. Before you go any further.
Yeah.
Because I do want to say this out loud. Now, before you do your thing, I'd have more respect for you. And not that I agree with you, but I have more respect for you if you sit there and you say what the United States said, where it's like, yeah, we're just going to bomb the fuck out of you. We're going to drop 2 nuclear bombs on your fucking cities that are civilian based. Then for you to sit there and say, I'm going to send hundreds of thousands of troops in here and they're just going to continue to die. If you sat there and you said, I'm going to do this for the saving of British lives. Okay. That still has more effect on it than you sitting there and saying, yeah, we're just going to send hundreds of thousands. And I'm not going to stoop to that fucking level.
Right.
For hundreds of thousands of people to die to continue. Like, again, I don't agree with it either. But at the same time, again, if you're gonna pull one card, why not pull them fucking all? But no, our world has to have laws and rules and all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, yeah, fuck you.
No, you're right. I mean, those rules are in order to make us feel better about the thing.
Well, and I mean, according to the book that you had me read, it's actually more about making money.
Oh, we haven't talked about that on the show, have we?
No, yeah, we did. We talked about it. We talked about it the week after. I don't know if we got like super in depth to it, but I mean, that was part of it.
Yeah, War's a Racket.
Yeah,
that was the book, and it's not really. I mean, it's unequivocal. Okay, so in this movie, based on a real life thing, which is Operation Market Garden, where the British 5th, it's the Red Devils. It's basically like their 101st Airborne Division and 82nd wrapped up into one. The British Red Devils are going to grab Bridger 2, and the 101st and the 82nd Airborne Division are going to grab the remaining bridges, and then our tank divisions are going to all blow through the German lines and take all these bridges, and then we'll win the war by Christmas in 1944. It goes completely off the rails. It's a terrible operation. The British send in 5,000 paratroopers, and I think 500 come out. Yeah, it was a fucking disaster. Anyway, in the movie, I don't know if this was ever said, and it doesn't matter. There's a moment in the movie. Gene Hackman, the actor, is playing. He is in the role of the head of the Polish paratroopers, which was the thing.
Also, by the way, Gene Hackman, the actor, as opposed to the Teletubby. Okay.
As opposed to what?
The Teletubby.
Oh.
And you just were like the actor, and I was like, as opposed to.
Sorry.
Anyway,
so Gene
funny.
Hackman is playing the head of he's a Colonel Sobieski or something. He's head of the Polish paratroop group that's attached to the British Fifth Army, whatever they were, the Red Devils. It is now clear everything's going to fall apart, and it's him with the head of the 82nd Airborne Division and the head of the 101st Airborne Division and whoever's left of the British Airborne Division, and then the guy who's in charge underneath General Montgomery. And again, I don't know if this scene actually happened, but it's a fantastic scene where everyone's just like, are we going to be able to do it? And they're like, no, no, no. And then in this moment, Gene Hackman, this Polish paratrooper, just like gives this 20-second like philosophical thing of, this is what happens when one gets together with another guy and decides we're going to go to war against each other, and one side's going to win and one side's going to lose, and all these people in between are going to fucking pay the price because you and I decided one day we wanted to go to war.
Yep.
I mean, that's basically his speech.
Yeah.
And Gene gives it in a very nice, I have no idea if it's a accurate Polish accent or not. And it leaves everybody in the scene like, thanks for that bit of realism. But it's a great moment. It's like, yeah, this is what happens when one dude's like, I'm going to go to a war against you. Guess what happens? A bunch of 17 to 25-year-olds get fucking chewed up and spit out, and nothing actually gets accomplished.
Yep. 100% agree.
And that was World War One.
And that was World War One,
where we fucking repeated it on times 10, 20 years later.
Yeah, and then we decided to just trickle down that whole kind of, we're going to end the violence there, but then proceed to act in methods of violence for the next 100 years.
Correct. So, we're going to wrap this up here. When we celebrate Veterans Day, please, everyone, I don't care if you're pro-military, I don't care if you're a veteran. Probably if you're a veteran, this is like scratching your itch because we've been given all this bullshit ideas of how veterans think. When Veterans Day comes up, can we please take a moment of silence, maybe an afternoon, like whatever, like 10 minutes, prayer, whatever, and pray for peace, pray for the souls that died in World War I that we didn't fucking listen to, and just pray that everyone, including ourselves, our leaders, learn that Veterans Day is not the day to revere. It is not the day to revere. This is not Memorial Day, which I don't even think Memorial Day should be like.
Yeah.
But we've turned Veterans Day in Memorial Day light. This is not the day to revere. This is the day to remember that fucking almost 1 million men died in entire 3 or 4 day stretches.
Yeah, go to the Vietnam Memorial and feel the eeriness, or go to the Korean War Memorial.
Go to the Vietnam Memorial and think that is what happened in a fucking day.
Yeah.
And read, yes, if you want to read Revelation, say this is what Revelation was. It is boys and men killing each other for no purpose at all at $800,000 a rate over 3 or 4 days for literally feet of ground that accomplished literally nothing, so that we put it into the washer.
I've actually read The Man in the High Castle, so never mind. You saying for nothing is false. So
we took World War I, we washed our clothes in a washer, we and then we repeated it 20 years later on steroids. And in some ways, World War I was still worse. That's the thing.
Yeah.
In some ways, World War II was worse, and in some ways, World War I is still a thing that everyone listening to this cannot fathom. I mean, the thing that I read, like, who the fuck dies just wallowing in mud? That's insane. Yeah, if you've seen 1917, the movie, or the modern version of what's that? What's the movie, Colton? It's on Netflix.
War One.
It's the modern version of
All Quiet
on the West. The modern version. I mean, the old one is also rough, but the new one is almost like a horror movie.
It's almost like World War One was almost like a horror movie.
It was. And so, yes, if you're like, I want to get a glimpse of what it was, watch 1917 or the new version of All Quiet on the Western Front, which I watched once and instantly regretted. Because, I mean, if I was in my 20s, I would have been like, hell yeah. But now I'm like, nope, I watched it. I'm good. I don't need to know anymore.
That's enough. That's how I feel about a lot of war movies nowadays, where I feel like actually I get the message of war movies now. There are some propaganda-ish war movies that still exist out there, but there are some where I'm like, I think I understand that more deeply than I did ever before. If you're one of those people that are watching Saving Private Ryan once a month and you feel patriotic after watching it, I feel like maybe watch it one more time through a different lens.
I will. I'm glad you said that. We'll wrap it up on this. I grew up my entire life watching war movies. Yeah. That was my go-to thing. I would watch The Big Red One, like I said, Bridge Too Far, Bridge Over River Kwai, The Longest Day, which was the big D-Day.
What's the
epic?
What's the Mel Gibson?
Oh,
We Were Soldiers.
We Were Soldiers. There was We Were Soldiers, and indeed the one in the Korean War.
Oh, I don't know that one. I know We Were Soldiers was Vietnam, right?
That one's and then the one. No, We Were Soldiers was that. No, that was the one where the pacifist is the medic.
Oh no, you're talking about
Heartbreak Ridge. Heartbreak Ridge. That one's another one. So I will still watch war movies. I just don't watch them with reverence anymore. And I watch them with a heartbreak and also an understanding of these are men who have been thrust into a responsibility and they've been told by a government they have basically, yes, they have. Do they have choice? Sure, but they really don't. And these are men trying to exist the best they can in the hell they've been given. And so I don't watch I don't watch them as heroic. And that's not fair.
Oh,
That's not fair either. I don't watch them I don't watch them romantically like I used to.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
On
It is still, you can still say such and such war or such and such battle is an abomination, but I can still revere someone who dies for their brothers or does such and such for their brothers because they've been put in the situation they put in. But I don't, it's, again, this is not, when I was a kid, it was Henry V and the grand speech, and this is us beating the French at Agincourt, and today you are not my subject, you are my brother, because today blah blah blah. No, I don't view it that way anymore. No,
Well,
that is romantic claptrap.
Well, and then there's two of Letters from Iwo Jima and Flies of Our Fathers.
Oh yeah,
Clint Eastwood's directed both of those. Those are rough watches.
I've never read this before, but I want to say I think Clint Eastwood had the same epiphany where I think in his 30s and 40s and 50s he had a romantic view of war. I mean, you can see it in Heartbreak Ridge, which is a really cheesy schmaltzy movie about us invading Grenada, and I think somewhere in his 50s or something, I don't know, he either read more or whatever, he had an epiphany of like, no, this is not something to be, it's not something to be ignored, because if we ignore it, then we're just going to repeat it.
Right.
Which is why I think Veterans Day should be revered, should be followed, but it should be solemn and looked at it from a viewpoint of this is hell on earth and we don't want to repeat it. And we want to have sympathy and reverence for the people who had to live through it. But it's also, I'm not going to do this romantic bullshit of this is my country fighting communism or whatever ism, and I'm standing up for this, that, and the other. No, at the end of the day, it is 9 times out of 10, if not 100%, 10 times out of 10. It is man debasing man one step at a time, creating hell on earth, repeating Revelation. You are falling into what the devil wants us to do.
You become the Antichrist.
You become the Antichrist.
In the true definition of
correct.
You have resisted what Christ's message is
correct.
For this world.
Absolutely. All right. Well, we hope you've enjoyed this nonstop, anecdotal,
food-centered,
breadcrumb. What's the word? Anyway.
Hansel Gretel episode.
If you don't like chicken wings, you can go to hell.